Hey everyone, Pastor Tim here. Almost 5 years ago, 4 of us moved to downtown Wilkes-Barre to start Restored Church. And in starting Restored, we began a group that we call a house church. This house church was a group of people that met together once a week throughout the week to share a meal, build relationships, and discuss biblical truth. We did that because we wanted community to be central to the DNA of who we are and how we operate as a church right from the start. That decision was based on the belief that God has designed each and every one of us for community. And in wiring us for relationships, God calls us to follow Jesus together. That's why church is not an event you attend, it's a community that you engage in. So as we continue to move forward, we want Restored to simultaneously grow both larger and smaller. What do I mean by that? Well, we want Restored to grow larger in that we have more opportunities with more people to influence them for Jesus. But at the same time, we want Restored to grow smaller in that we multiply smaller communities of people that get out of rows and into circles. And in building relationships, there are less people in that environment so that there can be more intimacy. See, we call Sunday morning the gathering because we see it as a gathering of communities. Sunday morning is not the end-all be-all. If that's your only exposure to Restored, you're missing the greater picture. That's only a small piece of something much bigger that's happening in our church. Because it's not just Sunday mornings, it's not just weekly communities, it's the combination of the two coming together to accomplish the mission of the church in multiplying followers of Jesus. Over the last 9 months, Tim Morris, our house church director, and I have been having a number of conversations with a number of different people evaluating for effectiveness. And as we've evaluated, we've asked questions like, how are we doing with keeping community central at Restored? What are we doing to help people live in community? And is our approach the most effective way to do that? As we've had those conversations and asked those questions, we've realized that there's a need for change. The reason for change is really good. It's based in the fact that people are growing and our church is growing. And change is actually something that's going to be a norm around Restored. Because people and culture are always changing, we want to consistently change how we approach things in order to maintain a high level of effectiveness. Now, what we're not changing is our goal. Our goal is still community. We're simply adjusting our approach and our strategy for greater effectiveness. So moving forward, our communities will no longer be called house churches, they'll be called community groups. And in changing the name, it allows us the freedom to meet in locations other than living rooms. Community can happen in a living room, in a coffee shop, on a college campus, or in a local restaurant. And we're excited to provide community for more people in more locations. Changing the name also removes some barriers and some obstacles that had kept people from engaging in community at Restored. Not only that, but it also clears up some misconceptions as far as who we are and how we operate as a church. Not only are we changing the name, but we're also changing our approach to training, equipping, and supporting our leaders to make them more effective in leading people into community in everyday life. So as we make this transition, our community groups will be defined by 4 things. Our community groups will be gospel-centered, prayer-focused, action-oriented, and relationally driven. At Restored, we want to be a church of community groups, not just a church with community groups. The life and the health of what's happening at Restored is actually happening in our community groups. If you're not a follower of Jesus, a community group is a great environment to explore faith. If you are a follower of Jesus, a community group is essential to your growth and development as a follower of Jesus. We're not meant to follow Jesus alone, we're meant to follow Jesus together. And the best way we do that is by getting out of rows and into circles. So as we make this transition, we're excited to see how God is going to use this in the lives of people and in the life of our church as we continue to multiply followers of Jesus.